Hey, welcome everyone to a review of the JBL Tune 770 NC noise cancelling over-the-ear headphones. Now if you want to see the written versions review, you can find a link to my website in the video description. So I've also reviewed the previous version, the 760 NC, which looks identical to the 770. So it makes you wonder, what did JBL change, if anything? Did they make any improvements, or is it just the exact same thing? So I'm going to be doing, during the review of the 770, is drawing some quick comparisons to the 760 to see what is actually changed. Before that, let's start off with the price. So here in Canada, it's priced at $189.98. A really weird price tag, so we'll just round it up to $190. In the United States, it's priced at $130. The 770 does support a wireless and wired connection. The auxiliary wired connection port is on the bottom of the right ear cup, and you can use an auxiliary connection when the battery is dead. Also, with a wired connection, you can power it on and use active noise cancelling technology, ANC for short, which is pretty neat. Although you cannot use the headphones while they're recharging. The auxiliary cable is measuring at about 48 inches, and one end is 2.5mm, which goes into the headphones, and the other end is your standard 3.5mm to go into your audio source. For wireless connection, it's supporting Bluetooth 5.3, so one of the latest standards. So in terms of range, there's nothing listed from JBL, but in my own testing, walking around my house, I was able to get 40 feet with a few room walls in between, so they're pretty impressive when it comes to range. As for how many devices you can keep in memory before having to repair them and learn all over again, nothing listed from JBL, but I was able to get 3 devices in my testing, which is pretty good. It does support multi-connect, so you can connect to 2 devices at the same time. So for example, your cell phone and your computer. If the cell phone rings, it takes priority for the call. Overall connectivity performance is pretty much similar to the 760. There's no real difference there, except for the Bluetooth version. Everything else is pretty much the same. Okay, accessories. Here's a bit of a controversial part. There's no traveling pouch. It looks more like a garbage bag with the JBL logo that was included in the box. However, I think it's intended for shipping the headphones in the box that they came out of. Because when you look to the JBL website, when it comes to them referencing what's in the box, they don't list this JBL bag. Basically, at this price point, you don't get a traveling pouch or hard traveling case, which is pretty unacceptable at this price point. There is the auxiliary cable I mentioned about earlier, and there's a USB-A to USB-C cable. Unfortunately, it's not pure USB-C, and it's measuring about 8 inches. There's no power adapter included in the box because they expect you to just use your cell phone charger or plug it into a computer, which is I pretty much do. The accessories and lack of a pouch or hard traveling case is the exact same thing as this 760, the previous version. Looking at the headphones, they're okay, but they could have been better. That's because all the physical controls on the right ear cup. Also, you have the oversized JBL logo, so on the right side, the headphones look really busy and crowded. In fact, the physical design is almost identical to the 760, and holding them both in the hand and looking at them thoroughly, I can't really tell them apart, which is kind of sad because the 760 has the same crowded design. JBL didn't decide to improve upon that. The headphones come in various colors such as black, which I have, purple, white, and blue. They support a folding design like the 760, and they're 10 grams heavier than the 760, weighing in at 230 grams. But that's not too bad, especially when you're putting it on your head, it's quite comfortable. The body construction is firm like the 760 and can take a fair amount of abuse despite it having a folding design, which is nice. Although it's important to note they're most likely not dust and water resistant because there's nothing mentioned online or in the documentation, so try not to get them dusty or wet. Okay, so like the 760, there is a catch here when it comes to comfort. So whether I'm wearing glasses or not, I can wear them for a few hours straight, there's no problem. My ears don't get sweaty, they don't get warm, they don't get irritated. They're pretty comfortable, I can wear them for a few hours straight. Is that the ear cup opening on the 770 are exactly like the 760, they're a bit too narrow. Now look, I have an abnormal face. It's so abnormal and weird looking that when I was walking on the street a few weeks ago, the local zoo thought I was an escaped animal. They tased me through the back of the bus, threw me in a cage in the zoo. It just wasn't that bad actually. You get free food, free water, free electricity in this economy is great. I also joined up with a animal posse group. We competed in the zoo talent show. Our toughest competition was the dolphin and alligator crew. It's a cutthroat, bloodthirsty competition, blood, sweat, and tears. We got second place. Not bad for my first time around. And now here I am released from the zoo doing this review. Despite me having an abnormal and scary looking face, my ears are normal sized, proportion, I guess you could say. And putting the headphones on, as I mentioned, they're comfortable to wear. In the previous 760 review, I compared it to the Sennheiser Momentum 4 wireless headphones. These are amazing headphones, absolutely worth checking out. They're premium headphones. I'll put a link to that review in the video description. So if you have larger ears, it's not gonna be a good fit. It might be too tight, irritating, might make your ears warm, all that other unfun stuff. To explain, the Momentum 4s, which are excellent, the ear pad opening here is about 3/4 of a centimeter wider. That doesn't sound like a lot. I get it. 3/4 of a centimeter sounds like nothing. But remember that your ears are one of the smallest body parts you have. 3/4 of a centimeter can go a long way. I don't recommend working out with them, but that's only because they are over-the-ear headphones. Your ears are encapsulated within an ear cup. They will get hot and sweaty. It'll get pretty nasty pretty quickly, but that happens with regardless of any over-the-ear headphones, even in like the Sennheiser Momentum 4s. Okay, so what helps with the comfort? One of the things has to be the headband flex. It's not too bad. It's kind of like in the middle, okay, not too tight, not too loose. Of course, you also have the ear pad cushioning, which is firm, thick, and soft. So it's a right combination mix there. And also the headband cushioning at the top, if you have next to no hair, it's gonna be very generous. It's quite thick, it'll be quite comfortable. And getting the sweet spot isn't bad because the headband adjustment is done in notches, and the ear cup rotation is excellent in almost any direction. There are official ear pad replacement units available, but only on the JBL website in the UK, and most of the units are sold out. I can't find them for anywhere else, including here in Canada or the United States. However, there are many third-party manufacturers and vendors that do sell ear pad replacements. Interesting and I guess not surprising is that a lot of these third-party vendors list that the 760 ear pads are compatible with the 770. If you plan to use them with traveling, which I'll talk about noise cancelling shortly, putting them on my neck, looking left and right, it's not bad. Looking down, it's okay. They kind of rub against my chin ever so slightly. If you turn them down, they go left and right is fine, and looking down is fine as well. And they don't really dig into my neck. It's not too bad, it's pretty comfortable. So pretty much in every physical way and shape and form, whatever you want to say, it's identical to the 760. So there are no controls on the left ear cup, it's all crowded on the right side. So starting from the front right ear cup, we have the power button, and pressing and holding it will enter Bluetooth pairing mode. The next button is the ANC button, which is active noise cancelling, and allows you to cycle into transparency mode, which basically uses the onboard microphones to project sound into your ears so you can hear surrounding better. And of course, regular headphone mode. Just for your reference, transparency mode was not available on the previous 760 version, but here it's available, so I'm glad that they implemented that. The next button is volume down, and holding it will go to the previous track. The button after that is the middle button for play, pause, and content, answering and hang up a call, and holding it will activate your phone's assistant. The last button is for increasing volume, and holding it will go to the next track. Using a smart assistant with your phone, my testing was with Android and Google Assistant. It was very responsive and clear to understand what I was saying. My only gripe was that every time I pressed the command button, I couldn't hear the chime. It wouldn't play the doo-doo to let me know it was listening. I just had to hope it was listening and start speaking the command. It was kind of annoying. There's no passive play pause mode. So basically, if you're listening to content with the headphones on, when you take them off, content will automatically pause. You put the headphones back on, it'll automatically play. It's not available here. That's kind of a pass though, because it's not really expected on mid-tier priced headphones. Not all of them have it, so that's okay. So control functionality is pretty much similar to the 760. Surprise, once again. What's different from the 760 is ANC noise cancelling mode. It performs much better here. So with a low pitch sound at a high volume, like a plane engine noise or a bus engine noise, it performs very adequately. Actually kind of impressed at this price point and how well it does in that regard. You can take this for plane rides. Even if you're playing like a podcast with just talking, not music, you might have to put up the volume ever so slightly because it's still mid-tier pricing headphones, but it will do that job. It'll do just fine for traveling needs. So what about in a crowded, noisy environment with people talking? So not low-pitched noises, but something higher-pitched. It tries to muffle out as much of that noise as possible, not completely. Like if I had to have a conversation with someone about 5 to 10 feet away from me, I could make out what they're saying. But if I start playing content, including something simple as a podcast with people talking, cranking up the volume to halfway, it does just fine. So if you want to take this on public transportation, like a bus or a train with a lot of people talking, it'll do the job just fine. I was pleased that there's a big improvement here from the 760. Transparency mode is available here in the 770. It performs okay. You can have a conversation with people with 5 to 10 feet away. Not the best sounding, but it works and does the job. Passive noise cancelling, just turning off all technology, does okay, but honestly, the battery performance is so good, I don't think you'll ever need normal headphone mode. Just keep transparency or ANC mode active. And yes, there is side tone mode available, which is not usually expected on mid-tier price headphones. What that basically means is that when you have the headphones on, it'll allow you to hear your voice, how loud you're talking on the phone. So that is available on these headphones. So one of the things I think sets me apart from other YouTube audio hardware channels and other news outlets that review audio gear, I actually test the battery. And these numbers are going to sound fake. Trust me, it took me weeks of multiple battery drain tests to ensure my numbers are not false, but here we go. JBL claims with ANC mode on, the battery will last 44 hours. I got 56 hours. What's crazy is regular headphone mode. They claim 70 hours. Instead, I got an astonishing, incredible 90 hours. I know that doesn't sound real, but I'm telling you that's what I got. And all that was with music playing back at 60% volume. JBL says it'll take about 2 hours to recharge the battery. That's pretty accurate. That's what I got in my testing as well. And the USB-C charging port is located on the top of the right ear cup. Okay, so all the audio you hear right now is from the 770 microphone in a quiet setting. I'm gonna switch over to a noisy setting and let you hear through the camera microphone, so you'll see how bad it really sounds. And then switch to the 770 microphone to see if we can cancel out a lot of the background noise. And lastly, I'm gonna do a wind test with the fan sitting about 3.5 feet off camera right in front of me. Okay, you hear everything through the camera microphone right now. It doesn't sound too good, right? So now we have the 770 microphone on. See if it's trying to isolate a lot of background noise while I'm talking. And then I'll stop talking for a few seconds to see if it still comes through. Okay, and now I'm doing my wind test and just turning in various angles to see if the microphone will catch any of the wind and make it hard to understand what I'm saying as I'm speaking. Audio codecs supported are SBC and AAC, so you're pretty much standard stuff. And this is where we have another significant change over the previous 760, audio quality. So I was not really happy with the 760, but things have drastically changed here. So out of the box, the profile at flat is not bad, it's okay. You can notice there's a slight emphasis on bass, but of course if you don't like it, you can lower it in the equalizer. And yes, this time there is a mobile app. The 760 didn't have app compatibility, this one does, and there's a native equalizer you can use. So it sounds pretty good, it sounds like what you expect at mid-tier pricing. Now, with the equalizer, this is where I was really impressed, especially compared to the 760 when I had to use my own equalizer because there was no app. It is a dramatic difference. Bass can get great. Playing songs like It's Up by Drake featuring Young Thug and 21 Savage, bass is pumping in my ears. It was fantastic. The great thing here is that even though I was increasing volume like crazy, the bass didn't distort the audio or make things unclear to hear. Bass is always nice and crisp and clear. Continues on though with great performance when it comes to vocals. Increasing it up, it allows the vocals to come through much more sharper and clearer and stands apart from the instrumentals. It doesn't push it backwards in a way that ruins the quality. It just sounds like the vocalist is standing closer to you, kind of gives that illusion. Increasing highs, it doesn't get too sharp to the point where it pierces your ears. It's a nice, crisp, sharp sound that you'll get that just hits the sweet spot, so it can make some songs sound a bit more energetic if that's what you want. Okay, so how's sound quality when wearing glasses? It's pretty much the exact same with all over-the-ear noise-canceling headphones. There's no change here. So mids and highs sound normal. They don't really lose any effect, but like all over-the-ear headphones, because your glasses are kind of poking out of the ear cup padding here, the one thing that does leak out the most is bass. So if you're wearing glasses and you want to get a really thumping bass, you're not going to get the full effect, but again, that's all over the ear headphones. Into the app now, I'm not going to go through every single thing because some of them I showed you earlier. We have ANC controls. Ambient aware basically allows you to hear your surroundings a bit better, whereas talk through is still transparency mode, but greater emphasis on allowing you to talk to other people. I always just prefer talk through mode. I never use ambient aware, but it's there if you want. And you can simply just turn everything off if you wish to. Equalizer, which I went over. Voice aware is basically the side tone mode, which basically allows you to hear how much of your voice you want to hear during phone calls. You can even turn this feature off if you find it annoying, which is a nice touch. Smart Audio tries to adapt audio playback based on if you're listening to music or a movie. I find no difference. I just leave it on audio mode and it works just fine. You can also adjust the balance. Which voice assistants do you want and other stuff. Now, I noticed that max volume limiter is a nice feature. Not a lot of headphone manufacturers have this. Unfortunately, you can't put custom limits. I find that the limit is a bit too harsh. It doesn't get loud enough, so I tend to leave it off, but it's there. And the last thing, of course, on the last page is just stuff like a quick start guide if you don't have the physical manual, and stuff like firmware updates and resetting to factory defaults. All right, so the 760, when I reviewed it, I kind of butchered it because I'm an honest reviewer. I want consumers to make the right choice. JBL has made a dramatic difference in improving with the 770s. Night and day, it's crazy. The biggest caveat still is the small ear cup opening. I think despite the tight controls all in one ear cup, if you have larger ears, this is not gonna be comfortable. So JBL is so close, yes, so far, but they're decent this time, unlike, well, terrible, like the 760. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, check out my social links and website link in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.